Hello friends, and welcome to every book on my physical TBR. That is sort of a lie because these are only the books on my 2 TBR cards. I think I have over 50 books here. I have sort of encased myself in said books, which is really where I found I like to be, honestly. I feel very comforted. This video might take a while, so we might as well get to it. I do want to say my back is killing me from taking all these out and putting them on the floor. You saw me do that in the opening clip, sort of, and I'm in pain. Alright, I'm going to start with a pile that you can't even see, which is my physical TBR for the month of May, which I chose in my very first YouTube video that I posted. So go check that out. The first one is Dungeons and Drama by Christy Boyce. This was a very anticipated read for me. I followed the author on Instagram, I believe, and I am obsessed with this cover. I love that he's not a super macho man, so very excited to read that. Next up we have Bellegarde, I'm not sure, but it's by Jamie Lilac, and on the back it says it's the YA spin on Bridgerton in a review, so I'm very excited for that because I'm obsessed with Bridgerton, and a YA version sounds really nice. Sometimes I wish Bridgerton was YA when I'm watching it with my family. Also, if you hear yelling, that's my brother playing video games. Next up on my physical TBR is Babel by R.F. Kuang. This is a historic fantasy, I think. Then we have another fantasy, City of Bones by Cassandra Clare. I have heard nothing but great things about Cassandra Clare's books, and I'm really excited that this is on my TBR for the upcoming month. Then we have a book I'm not so excited about. It's Things We Hide from the Light by Lucy Score. I was not a huge fan of the first book, Things We Never Got Over, I think, following Knox and Naomi. And this is Nash, his brother, and another girl. And I think it's gonna be my least favorite in the series, even though I didn't like the first one. And then, I don't know if retellings are fantasies, really, but this is a Peter Pan retelling. It is Never by Jessa Hastings. I've not heard great things about this. Larry on YouTube DNF'd it. She hated this book, so I'm not really looking forward to this, but it's on my TBR and I'm hoping I'll get to it. Next up, in another stack, we have Holding Up the Universe by Jennifer Niven. I think I originally thought this was by John Green, so that's why I bought it, and I bought this probably 5 years ago now, when I didn't really have a variety in my reading. The Love Hypothesis by Ali Hazelwood. I have started Check and Mate, which is a YA romance, but this is an adult romance, and all of her romances, I believe, are like very feminist, science-y based, so I am looking forward to that. We have this book, which is a binding. It's called Fiction Favorites. It is The Rescue, The White Lady, Winter's End, and When in Rome, and I bought it because I saw When in Rome by Sarah Adams on this. It's this one, and I saw Allie read it on her TikTok, and I believe she liked it. The Way I Used to Be by Amber Smith. This is supposed to be a sad book, and I'm a sucker for a sad book. That is the only reason I bought it. I don't know what it's about. Every Last Word by Tamara Ireland Stone. I actually got this for Christmas from my mom, and I'm really not sure what it's about. It says, oh, Samantha has OCD and is consumed with dark thoughts and worries that she can't turn off. So I feel like this might be a sad book as well. This collection by Kathleen Glasgow. It is Girl in Pieces, You'd Be Home by Now, and How to Make Friends with the Dark. I believe all of these are fiction, but they're all like sad. I also got these for Christmas. Should have mentioned that. I think my grandma actually bought these for me, funny enough. This is The Sculptress, and it is about this woman. She's in prison. They call her the Sculptress, and it says that for some reason she's grotesquely obese, but she's convicted of her mother and sister to pieces and rearranging their bodies on the floor like a jigsaw puzzle. If you hear scratching, that's my cat trying to get in here. The next book I got from Barnes & Noble last time I went there. It is Cleopatra and Frankenstein by Coco Mullers. And honestly, I don't remember much about the back of this book. I know it intrigued me when I bought it. I did read the back of the book. Also really raved about. I've heard some good reviews and I'm really excited to read this one. So I'm gonna probably put this higher up on this giant list of books. Verity, Colleen Hoover. I'm not a big Colleen Hoover girl. Don't come at me. I think everybody should read what they want to read, but I did DNF It Ends With Us and haven't picked up another book of hers, but this is supposed to be like a thriller type vibe, and I'm a sucker for a thriller, and I've also bought this like when I first started reading, so I didn't really know I didn't like her that much. But Lucy Christopher's Stolen, I've actually started this. I got like a third of the way in. I really like it so far. I just got distracted and didn't pick it back up. It's about this girl and she's kidnapped basically, but I'm pretty sure they're gonna end up falling in love. I don't know, is that a spoiler? I don't know if that actually happens, but if you liked it, let me know. The Memory Keeper's Daughter by Kim Edwards. I believe this is like another thriller horror type vibe, and I found it at the thrift store, so I picked it up. I believe it was like $2. I get a lot of my books off of Pango Books and at thrift stores. If you're looking for books, go to those two places, or go to Book Outlet because I just placed an order there as well and it was really cheap. Okay, anyways, Pride and Prejudice and Zombies by Jane Austen, obviously. Also by Seth Grahame-Smith. This is like, I don't know, Pride and Prejudice with zombies. Why wouldn't I read this? I think I might pick up Pride and Prejudice and read the original version first though. We'll see. Suicide Notes by Michael Thomas Ford. Basically, this guy wakes up in a psychiatric hospital and he's like, I didn't do anything, like I'm not. So he's like, why am I here? I have 3 book stacks left and I'm almost out of phone storage, so I'm gonna try to pick up the pace a little bit. But I have The Perfect Marriage by Geneva Rose. I love thrillers, so obviously I'm gonna pick that up. And then we have Catcher in the Rye by J.D. Salinger. I think I was supposed to read this in high school, which is why I have this, so that's why I have this. But I think this is like a thriller vibe as well. Wildfire by Hannah Grace. I have not yet read Icebreaker. I have started it though. Not loving it. It is more spice than plot in my opinion. So we'll see if I get to this, but this is more like a summer read to me, so maybe I'll read it soon. It's like 30 minutes later because I had to empty out my phone so that I could film. But I have The Last Days of Lila Goodluck by Kylie Scott. I'm in the middle of this. I'm 50% of the way through. This was sent to me by TLC Book Tour, so thank you to them. I'm really liking it so far. She gets, what are they called? Witch lady, that she predicts her future for the next like week, and then she says on Sunday you will die, and so we're following her through that next week of her life and the people she meets along the way. Also in the middle of Check and May. I just wasn't loving this book. It looks really pretty so far. I love the cover, but it's a YA romance, and I'm just not the biggest fan of YA romances lately. Then we have Nova and the Ghost by Lisa Cordway. I love this cover. I love that it's tiny. It's a matte cover. And so those are the reasons why I bought this. Everything I Know About Love by Dolly Alderton. I believe this is like true story, her life, something like that. Let me know. The Mistake by Elle Kennedy. It's the one with sprayed edges and it's the new cover. I need to get the rest of the series and these covers. I have the first book, but it's in the other cover, the deal. So I need to get this version, but I really am liking the series so far, and I know there's another series out with the first couple's daughter, or all their daughters, I'm not sure. Up next are the last 2 books in the A Good Girl's Guide to Murder trilogy, Good Girl, Bad Blood, and As Good as Dead. I know there is a prequel as well that I want to get. It's called Killjoy. But I really liked A Good Girl's Guide to Murder. I believe I read it in a day, so it was a quick, easy read. Again, love my thrillers. Sugarwood by Brenna Ford. I think this is a dark romance. I know it's about a guy and he kidnaps this man and this woman. That's all I know. That's all it really provides for you on the back. And then we have A Little Life by Hania Yanagihara, and I'm pretty sure this book will make me sob. And the list of trigger warnings is very, very long, and so I'm very scared of it. It's also huge. Well, there are bigger ones.
That's what she said!
It's coming, but you know. Also, it's really floppy, and I love the floppiness. Cocktail Hour Under the Tree of Forgetfulness by Alexandra Fuller. This takes place in Africa, I think. But it's a really small book, so I thought it would be a quick read. People We Meet on Vacation by Emily Henry. I actually got this because I had to get 2 books, and I just got the same copy, and I gave one away, but it got lost in the mail, so it never got to the girl, so that sucks. But I have this copy, and I don't really want to read it, but I know good things have been said about Emily Henry in most of her books. You Again by Kate Goldbeck. I got this at Barnes & Noble. I just needed another book to get a deal, But then after I got it is when I started seeing bad reviews about this book. Hopefully I'll like it. It's a romance, I think. But Allie Hazelwood likes it. Funny You Should Ask by Elisa Sussman. I love this cover. This is one of my favorite covers I've ever seen in a book. I don't really know. I think one of them is famous in this book and one of them is not. It's also, I mean, it's normal for a romance book, I feel. And then finally, for this pile on this side is Something Borrowed by Emily Giffin. I have, I think, 2 more of the books in this series. They're on my bookshelf out there. I'll show you guys those bookshelves at a later time. But I've heard good things about this book and a lot of people said they binge read it. We have 3 more stacks to go. We can do it. Okay, these next like 4 books are gonna be rereads for me from like my childhood, from my teenage years. So first up we have One Came Home by Amy Timberlake. I was obsessed with this book as a child. I used to reread it a lot. I'm not really sure what age I was. I think I was like 13, 14 maybe, but it's under 300 pages, so I thought I could do a 24-hour readathon where I read books from like my childhood. I think that would be fun. Circle of Secrets by Kimberly Griffiths Little. If I can find that picture of me reading this book, I will put it here. But this is just to prove to you that I love this book and I have been reading it for years. Gone in the Dark by Michelle McNamara. This is a true story, a true crime, where she tries to find the Golden State Killer and she dies before I think he's caught, if I can remember correctly. And I love true crime. Finally, for rereads, we have The Girl on the Train by Paula Hawkins. My mom used to make me read or do schoolwork before I could get my phone in high school, and I don't remember much about it. I think it's a thriller though. Once Upon a Broken Heart by Stephanie Garber. This book, I heard it all over TikTok whenever the like sequel came out, and I think there's another series that I'm supposed to read before this. Let me know if that's true, because I can't figure it out. Somehow Thoughts on Love by Anne Lamont. These are literally, from what I can tell, just her thoughts on love. Literally. But it's a really small, cute little book, so I also sent this by TLC Book Tours and it's an org, so thank you to them. Tender is the Flesh, and I'm gonna butcher the author, but it's Agustina Bazterrica. This book, I saw one review and I knew I had to get it immediately. So I picked it up at Barnes & Noble, and from what I can tell, it's like a thriller horror type book. And I know there's cannibals, I think. Mr. Hockey by Leah Riley. This book is tiny. This book is itty bitty, and that is purely the reason I bought it, other than the fact that it's a hockey romance. Shatter Me by Tahara Mafi. I love dystopian like sci-fi books, and I haven't really gotten into one since Divergent, I think, and I heard great things about at least the first 3 books of the Shatter Me series. So I picked it up whenever I was at my local bookstore. The Teacher by Frida McFadden. I love Frida McFadden. She is one of my auto-buy authors. I love anything she writes. I rated The Housemaid, the first book, a 5-star, and then I loved at least Ward D and a few other of her books. The Stolen Heir by Holly Black. This is also an auto-buy author, especially when it comes to this universe. I love this universe. I rated The Cruel Prince 5 stars, but it is a damaged copy, sadly, which I didn't know whenever I picked it up. I forgot to mention, I'm sort of organizing these as I go so that my book carts can be more organized. So it's taking quite a while, and I'm getting hot and tired, but I'm gonna keep on pushing. Pillow Thoughts by Courtney Peppernell. This is a poetry book, and I believe I have read this whenever I was younger, but I don't remember anything about it. Another poetry book, The Letters I Will Never Send by Isabella Dorda. My mom got this for me for Christmas. Again, that's all I know. Shame is an Ocean I Swim Across by Mary Lambert. I love the like torn edges of this book, and I'm in the middle of it, but I'm annotating it, so it's taking a while because I can't just straight up read poetry. I have to be in the mood for poetry. My first ever, what are these called? Self-help book. You Are a Badass by Jen Sincero. I bought this whenever I was like 17 because I needed like a confidence boost, but I never did read it. The first 2 books in the Trials of Apollo series by Rick Riordan. I got these on Facebook Marketplace. I have read the first book whenever I was younger, so it will be a reread for me, but I don't remember much about it. From Blood and Ash by Jennifer L. Armentrout. I love how floppy this book is, and it's a fantasy, but I love the cover. I don't think this is the original cover. I think this is like a special one. let me know. Then we have 2 more books sent to me from TLC Book Tours. We have A Quantum Love Story by Mike Chen. This is a time loop type situation, which kind of scares me because time loops terrify me. The Day Tripper by James Goodhand. And I really don't know much about this except that it's supposed to be 1995 and it's not. But this is an ARC and they sent it to me, so I'm very grateful. And I will eventually read them. Next is a book that I am terrified of. I bought this book on an impulse and I don't know if I will ever read it. It's a sapphic fantasy though. The Priory of the Orange Tree by Samantha Shannon. This book is over 800 pages. It is a brick. If somebody burst into my house, I would hit them over the head with this book. It's like, how do I even read this? It's hurting my arms. So to read this book would be a challenge. It would take me like a month. Pulling from a pile down here that you can't see. But the first book is Some Love, Some Pain, Sometime by J. California Cooper. I got this at a library sale for like 50 cents. Day of Wrath by William R. Fortune, I think. And it's a tiny book and it's a horror, I believe. About this, again, I got it at the same library book sale. At the same library book sale, I got Little Altars Everywhere by Rebecca Wells. I think this might be part of a series, so I'm not sure, but I know it has won some awards. The last book in the whole selection universe is Happily Ever After by Kira Cass, and this is the different point of views of different characters throughout the series. I think that'll be interesting. Also, there's beautiful like illustrations in here. There's multiple. I'm not going to show them all to you because this video is way too long, but you know, anyways. Scarred by Emily McIntyre. I read Hooked and I did really like it actually. But I feel like this will be my least favorite because I think this one is The Lion King. And I was not a Lion King girly when I was younger. The Six of Crows duology, Six of Crows and Crooked Kingdom. I got these for Christmas in a box set. And I'm liking it so far. I have started Six of Crows and I've gotten like 25% of the way through it. But I think I might have to go and reread because I haven't read these in months. Twisted Love by Anna Huang. This is the first book in the Twisted series, and I have heard that the man is kind of brooding and overpowering in this book, but I kind of sometimes like that if it's done right, so we'll see. My sister really likes the series, my little sister. The 2 books in the Magnolia Park series, Magnolia Parks and The Long Way Home by Jessa Hastings. I originally picked up this book because I didn't know what order it would in, and I only had this one at my Walmart. And then I picked up this copy. And I've heard great things about this series. I've heard it's like Gossip Girl. I have only seen a few parts of Gossip Girl, but I like it from what I've seen. Binding 13 by Chloe Walsh. Oh, so floppy. I know some people are diehards about this series. They will literally go to war for this series, but it's huge and the words are tiny. And I just read a spoiler. That's awful. I did that to myself though. So, Why Kill the Innocent by C.S. Harris. This is a thriller, I think. My only other self-help book is How to Do the Work by Dr. Nicole LaPera. My mother gave this to me. My mother is a big fan of self-help books. I guess I have to read it now and let her know what I think about it. Hi, bud. Hi, buddy. Anyways. The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue by V. Schwab. Again, heard great reviews on it, impulsively bought it. The Breakup Book Club by Wendy Max. I know nothing about this book. I know it's a romance, obviously, but this was sort of one where you had to buy another one to get a deal, and I would rather buy a book than like not have the deal. Do you know what I mean? Icebreaker by Hannah Grace. From what I've seen, this book is all spice, but I used to be an ice skater and I love my hockey boys, so we will see whether this is good or not. I have started it. I probably will again need to reread it because I don't know. I don't have an excuse. And the final book in the stack is Archer's Voice by Mia Sheridan. I've heard that this book is really sad, so that's why I bought it. I love sad books, and I'm not sorry. Go talk to a wall about it. On to the final stack. My first book in the stack is Nightbane by Alex Astor. I loved Lightlark. I think I rated it 5 stars. Red Queen by Victoria Avard. I got this book, but I'm pretty sure there's another series you need to read before it. I have not started it. Also, I'm not a fan of hardbacks, but these are all mostly hardbacks. Kingdom of the Cursed by Carrie Maniscalco is the second book in the Kingdom of the Wicked series, trilogy, I think. And I read the first book, Kingdom of the Wicked, last summer. It was like one of the first books I read when I got back into reading, and I did really like it, but I don't remember much. I might have to reread the first one and then... Tate, what are you doing? Tate? I'm in the middle of the first book and I'm really liking it so far, but I got the rest of the series for Christmas. My mom got it for me. I hope I'm gonna like it. So far, I'm liking Tamlin and people are telling me not to, so I don't really know what to think. Divine Rivals by Rebecca Ross. I've heard great things about this all over TikTok. It's a fantasy. Iron Flame by Rebecca Yaros. I rated Fourth Wing 5 stars. I know that's kind of controversial. I did, and I'm not gonna change my mind. But I haven't heard great things about Iron Flame, and I'm really scared for what happens to Xaden in this book. It is the one with the sprayed edges. Powerless by Lauren Roberts. This cover is so beautiful, and I know the author is like 21. I used to follow her on TikTok. I think I still do follow her on TikTok. I know she came out with another novella and another, I think it's a duet. It's a series. I'll get to, what's it called? Duology. It's a duology. Let me know if that's not correct. Okay, we are down to the last few books. Sanctuary of the Shadow by Aurora Asher. Look at this. My dad got this for me for Valentine's Day this year because he knows how much I love books and he knows how much I love beautiful books. And this gives me Caraval vibes. I haven't read Caraval, but from what I've heard about Caraval, it gives me Caraval. It's a fantasy. The Heart's Invisible Furies by John Boyne. I started this as a freshman in high school, but this thing is also a brick. So I never did finish it because I wasn't a big reader back then. But I kept it because I did hear it won some awards. All right, we are on the last 3 books. We have Cassandra in Reverse by Holly Small. This was also gifted to me by TLC Book Tours, and it is also sort of like a time travel-y vibe. Bright Young Women by Jessica Knoll. This is a thriller, I believe, and I got this in Book of the Month whenever I had a Book of the Month subscription. Finally, the final book is This Spells Love by Kate Robb. It is a magical romance, I believe. I don't know. I'm not good with genres and knowing what books are. Now I'm going to organize all these books and put them on my carts, and I'm not going to record that because I'm sweating, and I'm going to turn this light off. This is crazy. All of my romance, all the books I'm in the middle of, thrillers, hardbacks, rereads, my TBR, sad books, poetry, self-help. This is sort of like miscellaneous right here. These are more hardbacks, and then these are all my fantasy books. I'm gonna put them all on my TBR cart now. Okay, I just finished, and I'm going to show you my favorite part first, but I will show you all of it. So down here is the rest of the ACOTAR series, Six of Crows. This is all my fantasy, basically. Time Travel series. And then we have this right here, just because it can't fit anywhere else, but this shelf is like my thrillers, my mysteries. And then up here, this is my white cart, by the way. Up here is the books I'm in the middle of. These are rereads. And then my dark romance on my TBR. Poetry, self-help, and 2 hardbacks. And I just put like perfume, cards in my TBR chart. And then when you come over here, we have my current month TBR. And then all the hardbacks. It looks gorgeous. You go down. This is all romance. More romance. And then we get to all my sad books. And then when you go around, you see the miscellaneous books. Oh. I hope you liked this video. It was sort of something, I don't know. Hopefully it was interesting to you. Hopefully you liked it. Hopefully you'll stick around for some more fun. Follow me on my socials, and I will see you next time.